All right, but go ahead, Maul. You said you had a question for us.
Hey, we know we've been hearing a lot about the, on the internet. I don't be on that as much, but you still hear. You always hear the black fatigue, and then you always hear after the black fatigue, you always hear about the victim mentality. So I want to ask you and Jay every day, what is victim mentality? What is your definition of the victim mentality that they're talking about?
I'll let Spaces go first.
The different people use that for different reasons. Mostly what I hear is people trying to, I don't think of it as, yeah, it is victim mentality as well. But when I hear the black fatigue conversation, I just hear people trying to weaponize their blackness to get certain opportunities or get out of certain situations, or use the idea of possible racism to try to control a situation. I was actually on the DPMO morning show, not on it, but I was in the audience or whatever. And I forget how the conversation started going towards that, but it started talking about the history of black people in America. They started talking about how it was Kelly in particular. She started saying like black people are, went through racism and something I forget specifically. But I said, don't y'all start kind of sarcastically. Like obviously people can say whatever they want to say, but I should have said, here y'all go with that victim mentality stuff, because when I hear black people say, it's, oh yes, I just remembered. But if man, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I just got so many thoughts about this. But generally speaking, like if what black people experienced 400 years ago is substantially different than what they're experiencing in 2025. But a lot of black people are still holding on to what happened 400 or 250 years ago to try to use it as an excuse for them not bettering themselves. So when I hear that, when I hear people say, I'm black, or it's because I'm black, or stuff like that, I'm like, okay, here you go. Same thing that people have been saying for 400 years. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? That's all my thoughts for now.
That's all you got? Spacer.
Huh?
That's all you got? That was it?
For now, yeah.
Yeah, so I got one question for you. You said 400 years ago, right? When was like Jim Crow, or whenever was segregation and all that stuff? When did that end? Did that end 400 years ago?
Let me see. Give you a specific date.
Because a lot of people like to use that narrative about 400 years ago when it wasn't 400 years ago.
Let's see. Let me add it to the screen. What am I doing? Okay. So it says Jim Crow laws officially ended in 1965 with the passage of the Voting Rights Act, which built upon the foundation of Civil Rights Act of 1964. So 1965.
So how was that like 400 years ago,
though? Which one? Well, that was just the example that I was using.
See, we like to use, like, especially other people love to use that when they talk about victim mentality, and when they talk about like black people, they love to use like it happened so long ago when it wasn't that long ago. It's been less than almost 100, 150 years ago.
Right.
So how could you keep saying use that like as an explanation? And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody who used that. How can you use that talking about it happened 400 years ago? It wasn't. But it's okay, and I know this is going to probably get some flack, but all the other tragedies that happens, like with the Holocaust and the other things like that, we don't dare question those. But I'm just giving you a little pushback. Go ahead, Jerry. Let me hear your explanation.
Yeah, like I said, I really don't use the word or the term. Is it what was it? Victim blame? What is it? What you say?
Victim mentality. Well, when people say you using the victim mentality, you know how they say that right now. That's a big thing when they talk about the black fatigue and the victim mentality.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really don't know what they mean by that. And I think it's important that people like try to ask, when people do use these terms, what do you mean by that? Because a lot of times
Nikki, what's
people
up?
What's up, Nikki?
My fault.
People piggyback on other people's terms and stuff like that, shit that sound good, but we really don't have any definition on it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't use the victim mentality. I think we also in an era where people like to blame victims. You see what I'm saying? Like we blame victims. Now, if somebody has a legit grievance, I think you should listen to it. It doesn't mean that it's a victim mentality because you have a grievance because you're complaining about something. Now, do I believe everything should be blamed on, racism? Probably not everything, no. But I think race plays a big part in everyday life. Things that we don't even see, on a day-to-day basis. Because, I mean, it's been in play for a long time, Just as much as, like, I like to say that I don't know, everything that, all the racism or whatever. I don't know the stuff that really affects me, like, that's hitting that affects me. You know what I mean? We don't know those things. As well as we don't know, other things that helps us. So I'll let somebody else speak.
I just wanted to ask y'all to see where y'all come from, but I'm kind of on the sentiment of I got a little bit of spaces in me where I say, yeah, I agree with some of the parts you're in. I had a little pushback with you. And like what Jerry Day said, I agree with a lot what Jerry Day said too. So I don't want to act like I'm just going against, I'm like in the middle of it. Like I understand what spaces say, it gets on my nerves too when everybody try to blame that on that. And it's like, bro, come on, man. You can't, because you water it down and then you get people that, like you say, it is fatigue of it because it's like every time something happens, it's not that. You're going to have more than enough cases that it's going to be something where it is some type of racism or something like that. So you don't have to go out your way to try to blame everything on that. And I ask people that all the time. It's like, okay, is it truly that, or do you truly think this person didn't know or this didn't know that? Like you got to really think about it. You can't just blame it strictly on that. But I'm also on the sentiment of Jerry Day when he said, you say people like to say people victim blaming and all this stuff, but they have a legitimate right. And I can give you a prime example. People are so against DEI, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Why was DEI created in the first place? Why was DEI created in the first place? Do you know?
To benefit white women.
To give people an opportunity at least to go in front of somebody to plead their case. So if we would have never had where everything was always on the even playing field, we would not have DEI. Am I wrong? We wouldn't even be, it wouldn't even, if everything was so equal like everybody say it is and argue about it is like, oh, it's no this, it's no that, we wouldn't even have a benefit to go with DEI.
I think DEI was created for the illusion that it was helping black people, not to create. It was created to help white people, if it helps white women, then it helps white people, right? So DEI was an illusion to help, as if it was helping quote unquote minorities or black people, and we see that again, it only helps 4% of the people. So that's why DEI was created, was for an illusion. So
yeah, it still only got you in front of them. They still didn't hire you.
So the reason why I use the 400 years thing is because that's what people say. And that's what, like, when we get into this like racism or whatever conversation, not us, but in other conversations that I've heard, people say, and I was actually listening to a live stream earlier last week, where somebody was saying that, our people went through 400 years of slavery and all that stuff. I didn't see any evidence of what the people 400 years ago went through. We are 2 generations removed, at least, from how the worst aspects of how racism affected Black people. A lot of with a lot of people these days, the stuff they're going through is self-inflicted. So that's why, like, on the end, like, I will never deny that they're in everything that we do, whatever it is, if it's at work or if it's in music or movies or whatever the case, in trying to climb up the corporate ladder, there are some people there for sure that still have, Black people are beneath me thoughts. But generally, like, there's tons of millions of Black millionaires, tons of millions. There are tons of new Black millionaires every day, every year. And there's no, I don't think there's anything that anybody can put a finger on to specify and say, yeah, this is holding me back because I'm Black.
Not to cut you off, Spaces, but just because there's Black millionaires doesn't mean as a whole that Black people are doing, you know what I'm saying? That, I mean, because majority of the Black millionaires are what? They're entertainers, right? So they're not doing anything like in any special field outside of entertaining that's, making them millionaires. And then, I mean, to me, this is a kind of crazy take to think that, okay, if Jim Crow was just over in 1965, I believe, then, like, all of a sudden, in less than 100 years, Black people are supposed to be, I guess, even peers with white people. I don't see how you do that when you've been behind the proverbial 8 ball, like, as he said, for 400 years.
So Nikki said, do you think white people dislike you?
I don't know every white person to ever think every white person dislikes me, so I would say no.
And Desiree said, are we talking about slavery, which ended in June 19, 1865? We're talking about, I mean, that's a part of the conversation, Desiree, but with Maul specifically was talking about when did Jim Crow end?
Yeah, no, it's because people love to use the 400 rhetoric, and it's like, bro, that was way closer than that, bro. Come on, man. Think of something else. That's why I just picked Jim Crow out of all of it. But
I
then
think they use
400
for. I'm sorry. I think they use 400 for the span of time. You know what I mean? But not that it ended 400 years ago. But I just think that a lot of times, like you just said, when it comes to other groups, right? You can't forget what other groups went through, right? And I'll specifically say Jewish people. You can't forget what they went through, right? It's always in your face. So where's the Jewish fatigue, right? Nobody has that. I don't hear nobody really saying that. Is it because we scared? People scared? Right?
No, because Jewish people aren't, from what I see, and I'm speaking for myself.
Jewish people aren't what?
Aren't walking around weaponizing them being a Jew to get opportunities.
Really? That is the furthest thing from the truth, brother. That is the furthest thing from the truth.
Hey, the way you said that was funny as hell.
Because that is the furthest thing from the truth.
Walking around and going into different establishments on a day-to-day basis,
I rarely see Black people going around on a day-to-day basis talking about I'm Black and I'm disenfranchised. I don't see Black people doing that. I live in the Black. I'm not talking about no internet shit. I'm talking about real life. You real life see people doing that?
Well, you're gonna yes. What?
You real life see Black people going into the store and saying, you know what, I'm Black and I'm disenfranchised and you guys need to help me. You real life see that. I'm not talking about nothing you see on the internet. I'm talking about you real life see it.
Yes, the internet is a specific. We can.
No, I said you. I'm talking about you. You real life see it. I'm not talking about the internet.
My first response to you just now was yes.
Where have you seen that real life? And how often are you seeing this? This is something that you see most Black people doing?
I don't know most Black people, so I can't say. And if
the ones that you see, most Black people that you see, of course you don't know most Black people.
You asked me, do I see it? So
yes,
I'm
but
answering
I'm
that.
About,
so have I
but of
seen
course
it?
You don't know
yes.
most Black people. Yes, but one
But you just asked the most Black people. That's what you just asked.
said the most black people that you see. Do you see most black people doing it? I'm not talking about every black person in the world. That's duh. I'm talking about most black people that you
which
come
one is
across
it?
on a
Because
day to day.
you're asking
I'm
like
saying
four
most.
different questions at once, and I'm
Okay,
trying to answer them, but you keep cutting me off. So
okay.
first you
Most
asked me,
black.
have
Okay,
I
you asked
seen
me a
it?
question.
Yes.
Most black people that you see on a day to day basis, you see black people going into establishments asking that.
Do I see it on a day-to-day basis? Your
You
first question you asked me, have I seen it? And the answer to that is yes. Do I see it on
okay?
a day-to-day basis? No.
Yeah,
Do I see it on a regular basis?
you
Depends
consistently
on what
see
you
that.
define as regular.
No, you consistently see that. You know what consistent is? That's
Yes.
okay. I'm trying to figure out where you be at because I don't
I don't
see it.
see
No,
I don't
where do you
see
be at? Where?
different places. What you want me to write down date, time, and location? I don't
No,
have that.
of course, I wouldn't ask you to do that. That doesn't even make sense. I'm saying, where do you be at? Where's this? Where they're doing this at? What establishments?
Grocery stores
So
specifically.
you're at grocery stores and they're saying, because I'm black, I want you to.
Bro,
Okay. All
we
right.
just I mean I use the internet as a representation
No,
because
we're
that
not talking
removes.
about the internet, bro. I'm
But
talking
are
about
you
real
going to let me
life.
finish? I would like to finish what I'm saying because you keep cutting me off.
Because I've been saying it's not about the internet. I already said that.
That's
You
cool,
keep
but
bringing it up.
I'm saying something different though. I was
Okay.
saying that I use the internet as a representation because that removes your anecdotal experience and my anecdotal experience. Anybody's anecdotal experience.
No, you can't
Because
use the internet.
what you see in your everyday life will be different than what I see and anybody else sees in their everyday life.
Well,
So you
you wouldn't
can't
have to
say
bring
that
up
that's
the
the
internet.
furthest thing from
You
the
wouldn't have
truth
to. You
because you
wouldn't
don't
have to
know what
bring
I
up.
see.
You wouldn't have to bring up the internet. You would know specifically, hey, they doing this all the time. And I feel like, I know specifically spaces. You're not seeing black people on a consistent basis talking about, I'm black, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You specifically aren't seeing that.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
Okay.
Who? So Nikki said you're being very disingenuous. Me?
Absolutely, you are. Absolutely, you are.
But you're telling me
Absolutely.
what I experienced.
Absolutely, you are, bro. Absolutely.
You can't
I
speak for
live.
what I see. Bro.
Whatever. Absolutely.
You muted, Maul.
Been around black people and black
Maul, you muted
neighborhoods.
yourself.
I rarely see black people saying that.
What was Nikki question after? Do I think white people don't like us? What was the other question she said?
Do you think people dislike you? Let me go back. Say if you experience racism, I feel you're looking for it. I've never experienced racism. Not true. She said there are 1.79 million African American millionaires in the United States. I just looked it up. As soon as they don't get their way, it's because they black. Exactly. Oh, you talking about this, Mom?
Oh. Where you be at the? No, I'm talking about when she said. No, I guess I answered it then already because it was a lot of stuff coming up. So I was trying to figure out what else she was asking.
Oh, she was saying. I think she's saying to you, Jay, every day. Oh, she's saying being disingenuous in the way he's asking the question.
All right.
So after that, yeah, that's all I had for that. Well, because the way I look at it too, it's just like no matter what we do or how we say it, we be quiet, we do whatever, it's our fault. It's this, that, and the third. It's us. It's us this. Now, is it some cases that shit be really happening? Yeah, it do. But sometimes when you say it too much, it waters it down. So now people looking at you like you a victim mentality and you always got a victim, mind frame of that. And I try to ask everybody when they come to me and when they say stuff like that, when they say like, oh, this is racism, and I try to think about it, I'm like, bro, I don't really think that one was that. Like, we got more than enough cases that you don't got to be reaching for sometimes like that. You feel me? But to see, but to say that I've never experienced racism, nah, I ain't gonna believe. I can't speak for what's her name?
Nikki.
Nikki, I can't speak for Nikki. Maybe that's just her case. Maybe she haven't, but it's been a lot of cases where I just let the shit keep going because I know what it is. I'm gonna just keep going. I'm not even gonna mention it. I'm gonna keep on moving, mind my fucking business and keep it moving. I ain't for to just go out, like, oh, you're racist. Nah, I ain't gonna do all that. I'm gonna just keep it moving because I've seen plenty of cases where it happened to me and a group of my friends or a group of this. And like I always say, the shit happened all the time with my fucking, when you say, like, just on the police basis, you can use them as all the time. Because they'll do shit to you that they wouldn't do shit to everybody else. And you don't got to be doing nothing. It just happens.
What you mean? With the
Yeah,
police? You talking about like how they act towards
just
black
their
people?
interactions. Okay, I got a valid story. Right? I just had moved in the neighborhood I'm in right now. I had a Pontiac Grand Prix 06. My tires was going flat. I get up and go to the gym. I had on athletic clothes. It was cold as hell that day with snow on the ground. So I drove my car to the gas station right at the corner, right? And as I'm letting my car warm up, I'm putting air in my tires and I'm brushing it off. I didn't go by no U-Hauls, not one bit. Pop come pull over because he saw me in the hood and everything else. There's no other reason why he pulled me over because there's a lot of people out there. But he didn't pull me over. He just pulled him back at me while I'm sitting there chilling talking about, was you trying to break in some goddamn U-Hauls?
Mm-hmm.
So now we going back and forth because he bought a U-Haul. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, bro, this shit really pissed me off because I'm on my way to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I do. You know my routine every morning. That's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But now you want to go back to case. Now you want to try to pull me out the car. You want to put me in. You want to do all this because you thought I was breaking into some goddamn U-Hauls. What the fuck am I breaking into U-Hauls for? So what is the other reason?
Well, you think it's because of your skin color? Is that what
what
you
is
alluded
the
to?
other reason? What is the other reason to me? I don't get no other reason. You can't say I blame everything on me being black and nothing like that. But
No.
what is the other reason? Because you know me and you know I don't do that. So what is the other reason do I have to like go by?
Well, so before I respond, are you saying that the cop did that because you're black?
I ain't say nothing. I say whoever can draw the conclusions. All I know is I did what the fuck I need to do to get up out of there to let him leave me alone and go and finish my day. But it had me boiling all day though because of that.
It could have been somebody else. Somebody called the police and said somebody dressed like you were, because that's a possibility.
Okay. I don't go back and forth with him. I shut the fuck up.
No, I don't either.
She say I did.
I don't want to mess
with you say you did it. Oh shit.
What happened to your light?
Huh?
Your light just went kind of dark.
Oh no, I keep doing that shit. You know I'm a dog motherfucker anyway. So yeah, just keep going. It's cool. But
you said, did you assume it's because you're black? Maybe you're looking sneaky.
Putting air in my tires, I'm looking sneaky and dusting snow off my car. I'm looking sneaky, dusting snow off my car.
Oh man. Oh, that was good question, man. Good question. I just to my final thought is, I mean, when it comes to ultimately, are there some, some like residual effects of, how police interact with people, black people interact with black people interact with white people interact with black people. Are there some remnants of, slavery and, all that stuff? Absolutely. Generally speaking, though, I think people do try to weaponize their blackness and just like what Nikki said, when stuff don't go their way, they try to use their blackness to throw racism out there. And like you said, Ma, it's watering it down now.
But,
it's watering it down.
I can agree with you and Nikki to a certain extent because every group do that. I done saw white people do that. I done saw white people do that at the place we work at because I'm not even gonna go there because I don't want to bring up nothing. But I have saw that because we getting together and we doing what we doing. Nah, I can't go with that just like that.
Now some beauty.
Now some beauty, sister. Every day, what's going on? I can't just agree with you saying just black people, y'all just say black people do that when they don't get their way, when all groups do that, I think. Not I think, I know. I've seen it happen.
Javier Day, you got any final thoughts?
Oh no, absolutely not.
You can hear them all?
Yeah, I heard him. He said, yeah, no,
Oh.
yeah, he said it.
Okay, cool.